Yeah, look. Hands up, hands up, hands up. Don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot. Can't you see I got my hands up? Hands up, hands up. Don't shoot, don't shoot.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video. It's your girl Gypsy. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. I know you've been like, you've been going again for another week. Well, if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Gypsy Junction, you would see that I had to take an upload break due to some personal things. I unfortunately had death in the family. My grandma, my mom's mom, unfortunately passed away last week. So I need to take time off to be able to deal with the initial, process and everything, because grieving process, it's never a quick thing. Like it takes time, and everything, but just that initial moment, I just needed to, step back and really, just love on the memories and just reminisce and just be super thankful of the time I did have with her, on this earth. And I'm truly thankful, for her being in my life, and such a sweet woman she was. And I know she's always in my heart, so I just needed to take that time. So thank you for understanding, and also thank you guys for 50 plus subscribers. Tap in. I'm so happy. Thank you guys so much for the continuous support. I absolutely love talking about literature, as you guys can clearly see. But I'm just super happy that our family keeps growing. Thank you guys for sharing my posts, telling people to subscribe, telling people to check me out. And this is for people who even don't usually read. I love all you guys. It doesn't matter what type of reader you are. You can be an avid reader, you can be a reader that only reads twice a year, you can be a reader that literally only reads maybe once every 2 years. It doesn't matter. I'm still here for you. We're here, right? We're here. Okay, so thank you guys so much for the support, and without further ado, let's review.
Meg.
Alright, so the book I have for you guys this week is All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. It is a memoir manifesto. I was super excited to get this book. It was a spur of the moment, purchase, which is most of the books, so I should be honest with you. But I actually bought this book a month ago, last month? Let's say a month and a half ago. I'll say that. I saw this being posted by Bow Ties and Books, and I believe BOOKSTORES as well. Really, a lot of bookstagrammers that I follow are posting about it. So I was like, well, you know what? Let me buy it too. So I did, and boy, oh boy, my God. First of all, let's talk about how I had a slow moment. So I didn't really understand the title at first, and then it literally hit me when I was reading it, because he identifies as queer, being the LGBTQ community, and I was like, oh, all boys aren't blue because he's queer. Yeah, I know, you guys can call me slow in the comments, it's fine, it's okay. Anyways, but I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Like I said when I posted about it on Instagram, and my socials basically, anybody in their family who has anyone who identifies in the LGBTQ community, especially Black families, needs to read this book. To be honest with you, I feel like every parent needs to have it, because regardless if you have someone like a child, or if you have a niece or nephew or something like that identifies as queer or within the community and everything, you should be informed. And I don't identify as such. I do have a best friend who does. I know people who do. It's my job to make sure that I am informed, because if they have certain things, I may not be able to relate to them on that type of level, but I should be there as a resource, to be there to be able to help them, to be able to care for them, because unfortunately the society doesn't want to, and it should. But for me to say, I need to be an ally, I gotta be all in. So that's exactly why I picked up this book, and I want to thank George M. Johnson for writing this book, because not only is this just a prevalent read, it's just a necessary read, it's that he had the courage to bring out his story at really such a young age. So he's only in his early 30s. That's still young. And the fact that he put out this book, I'm pretty sure he has interviews and just different talking with different people and stuff like that. You're constantly retelling the story, so you're constantly talking about traumatic things that may have happened to you, events that you don't necessarily like to talk about all the time. And I feel so much, I look up to him for that. And because that's how I feel when writing my book, there's certain things I don't want to really, necessarily talk about, but I know that it's necessary because it's going to help somebody else. And I know this book is probably helping a lot of people, even people that who aren't Black and queer. I know that they still, it's still a necessary read. So some things that I wanted to point out. Number one, I'm a person who loves table of contents, and Mr. Johnson, thank you for the table of contents. I also love his author's note. He also, put in trigger warnings. I also noticed Miss Talia Hibbert did the same thing in her Take a Hint, Danny Brown, but that review is coming too. I really appreciate that because I think it's really something new that's been happening. I think this hasn't been that long. I say maybe the past 2 year really, maybe. Like, I've been noticing that authors are giving trigger warnings and everything. Like he was saying, like, this book will touch on sexual assault, loss of virginity, homophobia, racism, and anti-Blackness. The discussions at time may be a bit graphic. So I appreciate that he gives the reader like a note. He's like, since you're getting into the story, let me know. I'm just gonna let you know what's going on because people have dealt with such things like that. So just to ease yourself in. He also talks about some use of the words that are particularly specific to one community, such as the N-word to the Black community and the F-word to the LGBTQ community. Now, they're derogatory terms to some it's endearing, such as the N-word, depends on how you look at it. But he says, please, if you don't identify as Black, African American, or queer, don't use these slurs in full, which can be harmful to others. And I'm proud I've never, at least I haven't thought, but I'm pretty sure I've never used that against anybody. So make sure you're being attentive to that, please. But some things I wanted to point out in the book, as you can see, I have a lot of tabs. There's a reason. So one thing I wanted to say is masking is a common coping mechanism for a Black queer boy. We bury the things that have happened to us, hoping that they don't present themselves in our adult life. And that was definitely a foreshadowing to him, like talking about stuff that did, occur, his young adult life while he was in college and stuff like that. Excuse me. He was definitely masking. He, joined the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. And he definitely dealt with, not telling people that he was gay. He finally, had the courage to tell one brother that did keep it, secret and everything. But, that, once you read that story, that one was, ooh, like, when I tell you they're rough, like, it's rough. Like, it was so much. He talks about, growing up in school, doing effeminate things such as, double dutch, which it really isn't, it shouldn't be seen as effeminate. Like, it's a sport technically, like it's just a game, like anybody can play it. But, even growing up, when I was in elementary school, it was still seen as feminine as well. But the girls never made him feel bad for, playing with them. Like they were nice to him. So it was nice to see that he had some love growing up as well. But he did deal with some backlash. Definitely, he dealt with some backlash really, truly all his life. And that was like one of the main points he was driving in, is like, no matter what, it's obviously like empowering, what you identify as, is that there's so much you have to endure. And I think that's what he was making it very plain and clear. It's like, there's more I have to endure because I'm a Black man, on top of being queer, on top of being a Christian family. There's layers upon layers upon layers. So I think that's what he was definitely presenting, and he presented it very well and very clear, because even if I didn't know, if I wasn't Black, I'm pretty sure I would have gotten it. I definitely would have gotten it. But you guys definitely need to get this book. One more thing I appreciated is that he was very real about his parents. He loved them, he respected them. His mom went through a lot. She was sick, his grandma was sick and everything, and he definitely, you can see that his parents and his grandma, they were pillars, especially his grandma. The grandma was definitely like there for him. Like, she knew when he finally like had the courage and told her that, you know, he's queer and everything, she still accepted him no matter what. And I think that's so important, especially in families when everywhere around you, like, no one wants to deal with you, no one wants to be, you know, no one wants to like accept you for you. And it makes it even harder when your own house, they don't accept you for you. So I really charge, you know, families, regardless of your religious background, is you need to love them for them regardless, because no matter what, they're going to need, they need stability. They're going to need stability. Like, they don't want to come home to instability. That's not going to make them come home, you know. And I really appreciated how real he was, like, that for what his parents knew about, you know, the community, about what it means to be queer, they tried their best. And he said, like, there's stuff they needed to learn, don't get me wrong, but for what they knew, they did their best. And I really appreciated that. Like, his father was still there for him, his mother is still there for him. So I really do appreciate that. But definitely pick up this book. It is heavy. It's heavy, but that's the story. That's the story. It's heavy, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I will probably read this again. I cried, definitely, but that's just me. But I really enjoyed this book. You guys can definitely pick it up online via, you know, help out your Black bookstores, you already know, via bookshop.org. You know, I have a post that I posted on my Instagram that I can link down below as well, so you guys can look at that list of Black bookstores. And also, shout out to this company, Bookish and Blackish. It is Black woman owned. I have this lovely shirt, support Black booktubers. So thank you for the wonderful, well, I bought it obviously, but I wanted to support her. So I love this shirt. And she has a mask as well, so make sure you stay 6 feet apart, because just because the new little light pandemic is so, it's not over. It's not over, but please pick up this book. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I hope you all have a absolutely wonderful week, and